So I was like, how do I get people to care about me? How do I get people to care about my mission and what I'm doing? So I reach out to Mark and I tell him what I do. We have lunch in LA. So I flew into LA for something work related. Mark and I connected. We had lunch, and then the next day or during lunch, he was like, "Do you want to do a talk on my channel tomorrow?" Um, and so we decided that it would be cool if I helped somebody from his channel. And I actually had a few people that I wanted to help because I had watched a few of his videos. I don't know if you know who Ronnie is. She was like a young girl that her story is just very heartbreaking. But there was a few like men and women that just seemed like they really wanted the help, and they just didn't have any like proper guidance in their life. So I made Mark a little list of people, and he said, "Why don't we let the public decide?" So in my first interview, we basically just we told the viewers to vote for who they wanted in the comment section. And overwhelmingly, everybody was like, Amanda, 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 Amanda. So I was like, okay, who's Amanda? So then I look her up, and
how many interviews in was she at this point? Because didn't she do like 8 or something?
She had a lot. She had a lot. There was a lot of material. I didn't even know it was the same woman when I saw.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment for me as well to realize like, oh, all those thumbnails.
It's the same person. And so I actually called Mark, and he's cut this out of our interview before because he wants me to seem like a saint when in actuality I called Mark and I said, "Can we pick someone else, not Amanda?" And I told him, I was like, Amanda is really severe and I'm doing this for free. Like I'm not charging for my time, and Amanda doesn't want the help. And
because she was about as far gone as you could get as an addict, basically, right?
Yeah. And like I said, I had a list of people that I wanted to help, that I really felt emotionally connected to their stories. But number one, like Amanda was very far gone and she didn't want the help. And I knew that to get her to even start step one, I was going to have to start going to court and getting the courts involved. And Mark told me, he was like, well, you said that you could help anybody, and if you help Amanda, then you'll win people over.
Right.
So I told him, I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I started, when I connected with Mark about it, like when I originally found out who Amanda was already in jail. She had attacked her father, and Mark instructed him to call the police, but they didn't really know what they were going to do from that point on. And when he told me that she was already in jail, I'm like, okay, I can go to court for her. But that's another thing. A lot of people are saying when Amanda was not well in those previous interviews, she had made a statement that's
about
like
her dad.
No.
Oh.
Well, yes, but like she made a statement, and the statement is, I don't want no girl my age video gaming me.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that apparently to the internet is evidence that I was following her around on Skid Row with a VR headset, trying to get her to do virtual reality.
So what were you actually doing?
I didn't know her at that time.
Oh, you didn't even know her?
Yeah, I didn't even know her at that time. Because when I met her, she was in jail.
Right.
She was in jail and all of her teeth were missing, and her jaw was dislocated and her face was like a balloon. Like she was super, super skinny.
Right.
It was really, really sad. Like, I couldn't understand what she was saying when she would talk to me. I thought she had permanent brain damage, and I wasn't sure how far I would get with Amanda.
And this is who you're supposed to help rehabilitate?
Yes, yeah. And so you know, the other thing that I'm canceled for is I made a statement, conservatorship or jail. And basically these people are saying the only way that Lima, the only way that I advocate to help people is if you have somebody that needs help, you either, set them up to go to jail, or you put them in a conservatorship, you know? And so I was actually talking in terms of Amanda's case. number one, I don't believe in ever setting anyone up, but I definitely don't believe in enabling somebody. If someone attacks you, if someone does something to you, then you definitely should call the police, because even though it seems like a betrayal to that person, if that person comes and attacks someone else and
Right.
that someone is not willing to like petition for treatment for them, they actually want justice for them to go to jail, then they're in trouble. But if they attack you and you're saying to the judge, hey, I know that, you know, I just want them to get help. I'm willing to do this and this and this. And so the amazing thing that I was trying to show with Amanda is anyone can do what I can do. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm I'm literally just using community resources that exist, and I'm telling everybody how to do it.
Right.
And so what I was advocating for was something in California called an LPS conservatorship, and that's a conservatorship of mental health. It's equivalent to to a guardianship. It doesn't take control of the estate. Not that Amanda had anything for me to like control, but in terms of property, she didn't have any property. But an LPS conservatorship is only for mental health. They only run for 1 year, and then you have to renew them, and the court needs to find additional evidence. So it's like the equivalent to conservatorship or a guardianship.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, I had prepared all of the paperwork to show that this is a mental health case. It's not a criminal case. Amanda's father would come with me to court, and he was essentially, you know, saying the same thing, like, yes, she attacked me, but I don't want her to go to jail. I want her to get help. And we had found a treatment center that was willing to accept her. But because the damage to her brain was so severe, and I wasn't sure how capable she was of understanding the severity of the situation, I was trying to explain to Amanda, if you run away from treatment, you're going to go back to jail. So we delayed so she was in jail for 2 months, and I could have had her out a couple weeks sooner, but she stayed in jail, and I was calling her all the time saying, hey, just remember, you're gonna come back here if you run away from the treatment center. And then once we got her into the treatment center, you know, it was a really sad situation. The other thing that people are upset about is that Amanda gained weight, you know.
Why would they be upset about that?
They're saying Amanda gained weight under Lima's care. She was really skinny, and Lima made her fat, and that's why she died. And
But usually if you see somebody who's all fucked up on drugs and they gain weight, it's because they get off drugs, right?
Well, number one, she was on medications from treatment.
Okay.
Right? I mean, like, she's prescribed her medications from her doctors. That's a separate situation. But like, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say what gains weight or what doesn't. But in general, some medications have that effect to like put on weight. But that was not Amanda's issue. Amanda was the same weight that she was before she was using drugs.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think her weight is the least of, or was the least of her problems. Like, why the fuck would anybody be focusing on that? Like, clearly her life was like hanging by a thread at that point. Like, focusing on her weight seems kind of.
Well, the public sentiment towards me is you should have left Amanda alone. And Mark and Larry would have said the complete opposite, because myself, Mark, and Larry were the only people in her life that were actually trying to help her and actually, like, I had to dress her for her funeral, you know?
Wow.
And like, these attacks started, we didn't even have a year to grieve her passing. And I had a very close relationship with her because she didn't have any other family aside from her father.
Right.
I was talking to her every single day. I spoke to her right before she passed away. Like, she had called me, and we were talking about, you know, moving her. Like, I was asking her, like, you know, what she wants to do, because she had started school. So I had gotten her a laptop, and she wanted to be a certified nursing assistant. So we got her the book to start studying. We were enrolling her in online classes.
And how long was she clean for at this point?
At this point, she was clean for about, I can't remember the exact number, but roughly 250 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, people, we just hit 300,000 subscribers. You know we're trying to hit 400,000 subscribers. So that little red button, tap it, tap in. Appreciate y'all.